What's up, boys and girls, cats and dogs? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the We Tron channel, a Nerdy by Nature production. That's Michael. I'm Leroy.
Hmm.
And we are here coming to you live to tape because one, if not both of us, will be at work because of a
Hurricane.
boom. There it is.
Our
Tropical storm.
potential tropical cyclone 9, as it's called right now.
So it's not a depression anymore?
I don't know the categories of what's what, man. I don't know. I
I
just
don't
know
know.
our Mets called a potential tropical cyclone 9 at the moment.
So I'm on. So the first presser was Friday. There's a presser Saturday, which I will take care of. But the way we have it set up at ETV, we have shifts, or like certain people get assigned, okay, you're assigned this day. I couldn't do Sunday. So I was like, I'll take all day Saturday. And then we'll go back to work Monday and Tuesday, and then assess. And so, yeah, so I'll be at the EMD doing the governor's press conference Saturday. Starts at 2. I don't know how long it's going to be, but
Hmm. There we go. Fantastic.
starts at 2 o'clock.
So, in the meantime, what are we talking about today?
So you hit me up. Um, was that Wednesday? When was the state
I
of play?
thought you hit me up. Oh, it
No,
was
you hit me up.
Wednesday.
So Wednesday, the state of play dropped, and
Hmm.
you hit me in friend of the show, Avery, also known as Morrow from Alien Earth. Check that out. The season finale just dropped Tuesday. Good job, Avery. Um, Great acting skills. Um, so the last state of play dropped, and you were like, "Yo, this trailer looks hot," and I was like, "A state of play?" And I'd forgotten that it happened because of the way life works. And
Well,
so I,
specifically, I said the Wolverine trailer looks hot.
well, yes, and I said, and Avery was like, he didn't know if he was wondering if it would be good, and I said, I think I said an Insomniac we trust, but basically I was like, it's if Insomniac their track record to me has been good, I think it'll be good. And then I went and
Hmm.
watched the state of play, and I was like, holy shirt balls. I'm trying to stop cursing. I have to give my children a quarter every time they hear me say a curse word. So
Hmm.
I'm
How
trying
much?
to.
How much money have they taken from you?
So far, they've only got a quarter out of me because they
Oh,
they only have to hear it and they have to acknowledge it.
okay.
Now, if I say it and they don't hear it,
Okay. This is like Uno rules. Okay, got it.
yeah. So like
Hmm.
they got to catch me doing it.
Hmm.
Um, but I thought one of them was asleep while I was watching TV, and I said, "Holy shit!" And I heard from the back room, "Daddy, we don't say that anymore." And I was like, "God damn it! Why the fuck are you still awake?" Luckily, he didn't hear all of that because I
I was
did
gonna
say
say
that.
you kept adding more.
I
Okay.
was like, because it's like 11:30. I'm watching TV. I'm cleaning up, and you know what I was watching? I was watching Peacemaker. The last episode of Peacemaker. I was like, holy shit! And I was like, and I just hear this disembodied voice.
Hmm.
It's talking about daddy. We don't say that. So, but anyway, I watched the state of play, and I was highly impressed. I was, whoo, I was shocked. So I figured let's do the holiday season's coming up. September's basically over. We're going to start gearing up for November, Black Friday, all these deals. We have some games coming out. Of course, Call of Duty, Ghost of Yote. Um, the Switch 2 just dropped. So I figured we just do a State of the
I mean,
Union.
it didn't just drop.
I mean, it dropped in June.
Yeah, that's
It's not
like
too,
3 months ago.
yeah, I mean, but that's still like, in the grand scheme of things, that's relatively new. I mean,
Okay.
so there's a lot of video game news, and I figured like let's go over it real quick. So I say let's start with the state of play. You watched it? Did you watch it live?
No. I mean, I had it on, but I
Hmm.
didn't really get to. I kind of just listened to it because I was working on shows
Okay.
or whatever.
What?
But I heard it, and then I
Okay.
went back and kind of watched it.
Ah, so you didn't watch it live. You watched it later on. or you
So
went to the
like I had it on in the background and I could hear all of it. And if something popped up like, oh, I would go and look at it. But a lot of
Mm,
times I would probably be looking through rundowns of shows for news.
okay. So what did you think? So have you subsequently watched it all, or
Hmm. Hmm.
okay? So what do you think about this latest state of play?
It was fine.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because to me, I only there were, I mean, the big games for me were Wolverine and Soros, the ones that they started and ended with. Uh, the other ones were okay, but they weren't like, oh my goodness, here we go. Yeah, this is what I want. Because the game I'm waiting on is part three of Final Fantasy VII, whatever that's going to be called. I'm waiting for that first trailer to drop so we can start that production cycle. A lot
Yeah.
of talk. People think the game will probably come out in 2027, which I tend to agree with because that is the 30th anniversary of the game. It seems
Hmm.
like the development's going nicely on it, so I could see it coming out 2027. And if that's the case, we should be seeing the first trailer soon. Maybe Video Game Awards, just to get you hyped and be like, oh yeah, this is the first thing we've seen in part three. So I was hoping that was going to be there, but it wasn't. But again, I was happy seeing Wolverine look great, Soros looked great, and the other things I'm kind of, it's all right.
Really?
Yeah, did they show a Ghost of Yote? Because I'm
Uh,
excited about Ghost of Yote, but again,
no.
it's so soon that it's not like
It's interesting that you were not like I even though I don't play all of these games, even though I don't, um, I think I think this is a very good state of play. I think this is above average for everything that they announced because I felt like they went it ran the gamut. It started with Soros, which is set in the um, Returnal universe. Um,
is it set in the Returnal universe?
it is,
Okay,
um, and I thought the idea of coming back to that universe, but then it being stronger, like it was like that the tagline "Be reborn, combat, death makes you stronger." I'm trying to remember. I'm looking for and basically your upgrades and weapons are permanent, unlike Returnal where you would have to like go back through and start all over again. I thought that was interesting,
okay,
I like Returnal. I thought the gameplay itself was great. I'm not a real big roguelike fan.
sure.
So as much as I enjoyed playing Returnal, I did get frustrated with it because of that mechanic. And I am very interested in this game. Um, I thought Battlefield 6, the campaign being revealed, was pretty cool. The new game from the guys who brought us uh, what's uh, Disco Elysium. Sorry, I drew a blank. I thought that was interesting. I'm shocked that you weren't excited about Final Fantasy Tactics. Um, there was a
So I
mhm.
guess I should clarify. It's not that I thought this was bad. It's that nothing surprised me, with the exception,
Oh,
obviously,
okay,
of Wolverine. Because
okay,
I mean, they showed games that were cool, but nothing was like, oh yes, this is surprising. And
mhm,
maybe that's what I was looking for, more surprising stuff. Like I was
okay,
expecting, honestly, I was expecting to see Soros because we didn't see much of it last time. We knew they were working on it, and there have been talks about them showing Wolverine because we hadn't seen Wolverine in forever. So I guess maybe it wasn't, not that it was bad. It's just nothing surprised me about it.
I understand. Like
Maybe that's a
you
better,
you were looking for more of like a video game award reveals of like something,
maybe.
and that was because Sony has been kind of slack. Uh, if you read things online and people's opinion, they feel like their first party titles haven't been as robust with
Hmm.
announcements. And I thought this was pretty good because it to me it seemed like it covered a lot of bases. I was shocked how the flight simulator, the big reveal for that. Um, I I was impressed. It was very polished. The state of play.
Hmm.
Um, it didn't give me everything I wanted, because some of these games I'm just not going to play because
I
of
was going to
just
say, what could they have shown you that would have put it over the top for you?
uh Wolverine was a very good barometer. I'd really like to know what Ben Studios is working on.
Hmm.
After we did not get a Days Gone 2, they did give us the upgrade and the PS5 with ray tracing and all that stuff. The um improving on the hordes, all that stuff. I thought it was great, but I want to see what they're working on because what are they working on that Days Gone 2 is not good enough?
Hmm.
So that's I want to see that. Ghost of Yote, I don't need to see any more of that. Um, I'm already sold.
Sure.
I I don't know what they could have shown first party title wise that would have gotten me excited, but I do understand the narrative that is formed around Sony and PlayStation for them not having more titles announced. I Ratchet and Clank was a launch title. I'm not saying it should have a sequel by now, but the console is 5 years old. So what are they working on? And we've got Astrobot. We've gotten
Oh well, Ratchet and Clank is Insomniac,
that's what I'm saying. Like
so they're working on Wolverine.
they're working on Wolverine. What I'm saying is, sorry, let me back up. Insomniac is putting stuff out.
Yeah, yeah.
What are your other? What is Santa Monica working on? What
Okay,
is
I got
Naughty
you.
Dog work? Like we know what Naughty Dog is working on. We got like a little teaser or a snippet. So like, I'd like to in like Housemark, we got Returnal. We now have Soros. It seems like there are certain studios who are like constantly putting stuff out, and there's other studios that is like, what are you working on? And so I
Hmm.
would have liked to have seen more from some of these studios that we hadn't heard from.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And so like Housemark just did Returnal. That was a launch. That was close to launch or a launch title. You're already back at the table with Soros. Now, granted, Soros is very similar. It's probably using a lot of the same control schemes, so it probably wasn't that hard to make Soros. But still, you've got one AAA title at launch. 5 years later, you got another one. So to me, it seems like there are some studios that can put out some quality stuff. Because keep in mind, Insomniac did Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man 2, and now they're about to do Wolverine. So that's three major games within this life cycle.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, what is everybody else working on? And that's what.
I wonder if you're going to see more of that. If they're going to have possibly reveals at the Video Game Awards, and then if you see stuff next year, because for everything that they announced at the state of play, I think most of that was either the first half of 2026, maybe one thing might have been the latter half of 2026, because I think
Mhm.
everybody wants to get out of the way of GTA 6.
Oh yeah.
Their date is May 26 or something like that. So I feel like everybody is working to have all their stuff out before that.
Now, I will say that um, one of the games that I thought like last Epoch, that the expansion. I don't play Dynasty Warriors 3. I mean Dynasty Wars. I bought Dynasty Wars once when it first came out back in the day, and I'm just not a real big fan of those type games. What I did think was interesting was Let It Die. I I I'm not a real big roguelite or extraction, but I thought the gameplay, I thought the way it looked, I thought that was interesting.
Hmm.
Um, I the big titles that I thought were cool, even though I don't play them, was Gran Turismo, and that flight simulator looked amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that like good like flight simulator made me want to play it. That's how good it looked. And so I hats off to Sony for, and it's weird saying it, Microsoft for providing us with flight simulator, because I know that has been a exclusive to computers and uh, Xbox. But to see that on a PlayStation, it looked great.
Yeah, I wonder when is Halo coming to PlayStation? Because at this point, everything is just going over there. So I mean, I wonder.
What do you think will happen first? Halo or um uh, just had the game on my the RPG space game Star um
Oh, I would see that going to over there before Halo. I think they both will eventually, but I think because I think that's already in the works. I thought.
it's in the works, but it hasn't been officially announced.
I thought it was. Let's see.
Um,
But Starfield,
yeah,
Field, PS5.
as you look, I'm looking too.
I'm just seeing reports. Reports are saying 2026, but nothing officially.
See, and that's what I said.
IGN on August 1st said, but Bethesda is reportedly preparing for much rumored PlayStation 5 release of Starfield for spring 2026. So
Because
I don't know if it's officially happened yet.
the speculation is they have some DLC that they're going to drop,
Hmm.
and I personally that's why I said I wonder will we see that before we see Halo, or will we see Halo? But like I don't know which one because here's the thing: I don't think you have to do a whole new Halo. I think remaster the Master Chief Collection and drop that shit on PS5, and it'll sell.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And so, but we are getting a Gears of War. What is it? Gears of War Reloaded, which is basically a reskin of the Gears of War remaster for PS5.
Yeah,
And
that's out.
so, like, they're seeing that these games you don't have to relaunch the title like you did with Halo Infinite. You don't have to do this whole big. You can just relaunch the same 4 or 5 year old title that you had on Xbox and just drop that on PlayStation. Shine it up. So I hear him again. But hopefully he'll go back to sleep.
Hmm.
Um, so if you had to grade this state of play, what would you give it?
Let's see. Out of five, I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I give it.
because again, I liked it, but nothing wowed me or
Mhm.
nothing super surprised me. I should say.
I would give it a three. I'd give it 3.5 stars, only because I thought you started off strong with Soros. You, to me, this had a little bit for everybody. You had first person shooter and Battlefield. You had RPGs, racing, a flight simulator game. You had bullet shooters. I may have to go get him, but let's see if he
Hmm.
goes to sleep, or if I have to give him some happy juice. Um,
I'm not your wife, sir. You won't make me complicit in your crimes.
Sir, you're
I don't.
friends. You- You're you're
I
you're part of the
don't.
inner circle.
I'm not
So
going to jail for this.
the RICO case, the RICO case will name you in the affidavit. Um, so I think it had a lot for everybody. So I do think that's why I'm grading it a little higher. Um, and we hadn't even gotten to the whole Disco Elysium game or Disco Elysium type game from the Zero
Hmm.
Parades. Um, I don't know all of the backstory behind the devs behind Disco Elysium. I haven't finished Disco Elysium, but I think from what I have played, it is a
Yeah.
great game. Um, I th- like I said, I think it had a little bit of everything for everyone, and that's why I'm rating it a little high because we have been on Sony. What you got? And Sony delivered. Um, So that's, for me, Sony did a good job. Now, I say that because if you're comparing the big three and what's going on with Microsoft, I feel like once again, Microsoft can't get out of its own way. And this week they announced, and was it the same day?
Um, I don't know
Was
if
it?
it was on Wednesday. I
Yeah,
thought
it
it was
was.
before. It was
Yeah,
Wednesday.
I thought it was. I thought it was Wednesday. They dropped it. Hold on. You find out, and I'm gonna go get. We may have a
Sure.
special guest.
Let's see. Xbox price hike. U.S. console pricing updates announced. Okay, so this was a while ago, according to Xbox support. Yeah, let's see. Retailer pricing for Xbox Series S and X consoles in the United States price updates beginning October 3rd. Updated Xbox console pricing in the United States remain the same. Okay, so it looks like it was the 19th. So what I found was it happened on the 19th is when they announced it, according to Xbox support on the 19th. Wonderful. Okay, this will be fun. So let's see if I can figure out what the prices are. View PDF. Where's that at? Xbox Series S 512 is now $399. The S Series S 1 TB is $449. The Xbox X Digital is $599. The Xbox X is $649, and the X 2 TB Galaxy Black Special is $799. That's crazy. I'm so glad I bought mine in 2020 for whatever that was, $499 or something, or $549. I don't know. I feel like I got a great deal now that I bought it. Um, so let's see. What else can I find here? Okay.
Okay, I'm back. He's
Okay.
on the couch. He's watching
Okay.
us. So so no matter what happens, we have an audience of
Fantastic.
one.
Yeah. So it was September 19th is
So
when they announced the prices.
they know. Okay, so
They go into effect October 3rd. It looks like.
okay, so that's on me because I didn't hear about them
Hmm.
until this week, and I was like, "Are you shitting me?" Did you hear that? Okay, good. Nope, don't owe him a
Okay.
quarter. He's got
Got
to
to hear
hear
it.
it. Um, he's got to hear it. And he's got to
Uh-huh.
call it out. So, what's your impression of the price hikes? What's your
I
thought behind
think
that?
it is unfortunate. We always talk about how Xbox steps on rakes and they continue to just get in their own way. And
Ooh, do they?
I kind of feel bad for them because this is slightly out of their hands. Like we know the reason why these price hikes keep happening is because tariffs. They had already raised it once, and they thought that they thought that initial adjustment was going to be enough, and
Would
they're
be
like,
enough.
no, we need to raise it some more. I think if they were really on the ball, I think they would have raised it to this price the first time because that
The
way,
first time
yeah, just rip the
instead
band-aid
of
off because you can't keep stair stepping it up because the prices are going up so much. I think it sucks. Um, and again, they're not the only ones that have raised their prices. They're just the most recent one to do it. PlayStation raised prices earlier this year.
Mhm.
Nintendo, I think the console is still the same price, but the accessories have gone up. Um, and there's no saying that Sony or Nintendo couldn't raise their prices again. It's interesting that the prices are specifically going up for US. It looks like the other countries for Xbox at least are staying the same. The prices.
Now
Hmm.
here's the question, and this is not my original thought. This is something I heard. I think I heard this on the Xbox Unlocks podcast, and It wasn't Ryan McCaffrey. It was the other gentleman. I can't remember his name is
Michael
right now.
Hyam.
He was saying, no,
Okay.
don't get me to start lying. I don't. But it was on the last one where he brought up a point of saying his tinfoil hat theory is Xbox is raising these price hikes before the release of Grand Theft Auto because they know that Grand Theft Auto is going to be a console mover. So they're raising the prices now in anticipation instead of raising them next year. And I'm going to piggyback off that and add they're raising the prices now on October the 3rd in anticipation of Black Friday to where they will raise them and then on Black Friday have either bundles or some type of sale through retailers to drop them back to the original price that they raised earlier this
Hmm.
year. And then after the holiday season, raise it back up. In other words, you're trying to manipulate the market for Xboxes to say, okay, we raised them earlier this year. Holiday season's coming out. Jack them shits up again. He's asleep. Um, yeah, he's asleep because if not, I owed him $30 by now. Um,
That's
jack the
interesting.
price up, jack it up
Hmm.
again. Holiday season comes around. Black Friday, we know Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Then drop the price or advertise that the price is dropped. Sell those consoles after the holiday season, jack them right back up to what you said on October the 3rd in anticipation for Grand Theft Auto. Then, if you have them high, two things. One, if you have it high and you only raise it in North America or the US, you're penalizing the people causing the tariffs. Two, you're setting the stage for whatever you have coming down the pipe is going to start at that price.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that latter point. The newer system is going to be starting at 799, possibly. I mean, we because the ROG Ally is 999. Their super, yeah, the
The
super
super
handheld
one,
is going to
yeah.
be 999, which is crazy for a handheld. I think.
Cause so the ROG Ally, according to IGN right now, written by this article by Chris Reed, the ROG Ally and the more powerful ROG Ally X handheld gaming devices now available for pre-order. They're set to release October the 16th, starting at 599 and 999 respectively. So now, according to this IGN article, they're sold out at Best Buy. But that doesn't mean that they won't get
Sure.
more stock. And I'm wondering, are and here's another thing, and this is tinfoil hat, whatever you want to do. Are you trying to goose or gas the numbers by raising your main system price and then kind of coaxing people into your handheld?
I don't think that works financially if
Another
the handheld is more expensive.
the one handheld is more
Yeah, but
expensive.
nobody wants
The
the
Ally,
549 one.
I, the 599 one. So I don't know. I'm just saying there. We know that there are deals struck between companies that says, okay, we're putting the Xbox logo on this or the ROG and all that stuff. What I'm saying is that could have been part of the deal. Hey, we're going to raise these prices so you set your price at a lower price because like I don't know what trade that they worked out, but I find it very interesting that they raised these prices on October the 3rd and then you have your Xbox branded handhelds drop on the 19th or the 16th.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm. I mean, okay, I could. I don't see that just because they're in last place in terms of selling console units.
They're in last place of last. They're last of
Yeah, so I
last.
mean, that is not the strategy if you're trying to sell more units to raise your prices up. For people already
I
say
didn't say they
you
were
don't
smart.
have right. They may not be, but also if they're trying to move units, I just don't see. I don't buy the idea that this is a tinfoil hat thing of setting making sales
Yeah,
only because you're in last place. If you were in first place, maybe
yeah.
if you were Sony, I could see it because that point you can dictate the market. But being in the bottom and you're just trying to break even or not break, you just make sell more units. I don't know. That's too crazy for me. Too
Like I said,
intense.
I, 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 I I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I, I need a reasoning, an explanation behind this price increase, and the only reasoning that I see is tariffs. But here's the thing: the tariffs are only U.S. based. I mean, the price increase is US based. So if it was tariffs, wouldn't it be this is where I wish we could get an economist. He is out too, boy. Ooh. Uh didn't have to give him anything. But I find it interesting and funny you did two price increases this year for a 5-year-old
Hmm.
console. It is think about this for a second. It is cheaper to buy that console when it first came out than it is
Hmm.
now. And that's
Yeah.
insane.
I mean, same for PlayStation though, right? Not to the same
Mhm.
extent, but I mean,
And here's the other part. I don't think Sony raises their prices. I think so. I think if Sony's smart, eat whatever cost it is. You've already raised it once. Let Microsoft keep raising their prices and you come in under them. Because here's the other part. While Microsoft continues to raise Xbox's prices, Sony is getting Microsoft and Xbox games on their
hmm,
consoles. So it's like if you're if, and here's the question. If you're looking at buying one of these consoles, and you're looking at the price, you're going to look at the games. You're going to say, what games am I going to get on this console? What games am I going to get on this console? You're going to look at the prices. You're going to say, well, if I buy an Xbox, I have access to Game Pass, which is great. But if I buy a PlayStation, I get everything PlayStation makes and the things that Microsoft and Xbox makes.
true. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know, man. Like I'm always rooting for Microsoft because, and not even so much rooting for Microsoft as just rooting for more competition. Because the more competition you have,
Yes, agreed.
it makes people want to work. It makes other competitors want to try. Um, so yeah, I'm hoping they're always around, but it does just seem like they're just slowly. I'm not saying they're dying, but I don't know what they're beyond Netflix and putting an Xbox everywhere. I don't know what their strategy is.
I
Or sorry, not Netflix. I said Netflix. I meant Game
I
Pass.
I mean the
Yeah.
Netflix of gaming. Here's my question to you. I have another question after you answer this. Are are you looking at buying one of the ROG
No,
Ally handhelds?
no.
Okay.
I have no need. I have a Steam Deck that I don't use because I bought it, so I don't need to buy another handheld.
I felt like that was derogatory towards Steam Deck. No, I'm not buying that. I got
Yeah, I
this
don't. I
shit
don't
on.
use
I
my
don't
Steam
play.
Deck. I'm good.
Um. Uh. My next question is this: someone is coming into gaming right now. Somebody new, young. You just sold your launch day PS5 because you bought
Uh
a
huh.
PS5 Pro. I say this because you've already sold that. If someone got into gaming right now and they have $700 to spend, which console would you
A
tell them to
Nintendo
buy?
Switch. A
Which one?
Nintendo Switch.
Switch or
Nintendo
Switch?
Switch.
You
Yeah.
you tell them about
Switch 2.
why?
There's so many games on the Switch. There are tons of games on the Switch. Like if you said they're just getting into gaming, there's a ton of games on the Switch. Um, you could
Okay.
make the argument for the Switch too because most of them would play better. But
Mhm.
if you're just getting into it, you may not care so much about the bells and whistles and running the 60 frames per second and the 4K and all that kind of stuff. You can find so
Okay.
many games on the Switch with unique art styles that take advantage of the system, so you're not worried about processing power. Um, and there are so
Mhm.
many independent games that are on the Switch. I would say the Switch, because you could save some of that extra money and get more games with it. So I would either go
Okay.
with Switch like that. Yeah.
That's now. With that being said, that's a great segue. Thank
hmm
you. You exactly what I wanted you to do. What is going on with Nintendo?
Nintendo's doing what it does.
Is is Nintendo sitting in the catbird seat, watching all of this after they just dropped the
You
Switch
froze
2?
for a second. You said, "Is there sitting at what seat?"
Are they sitting in the catbird seat watching all of this and saying, "Yeah, we're good"?
I think Nintendo's doing fine. There's been research reports that the Switch 2 is the fastest selling console in like the first month or something. But numbers are numbers. You can make numbers do whatever you want. But like IGN had it to the story, maybe the fastest selling console of all time and the fastest selling console in a month or something like that. Um, I, for me, the question about the Switch is when is the other shoe going to drop? Like, where are the other games at? We did have a Nintendo. Do we have a Nintendo Direct maybe within the last couple of weeks? I think so. And they showed some interesting titles. Um,
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4, Metroid
Metroid 4,
whatever that
Beyond,
whatever the
Fusion,
Metroid.
Prime, Gala, Rayma, whatever.
There's a
Yep,
motorcycle in that one
yep.
too, right?
Samus has a motorcycle that everybody's excited about. That's coming out. Me, along with everyone else, I think we want to know where are the tracks for Mario Kart World. Where's the DLC for that at? Because they gave us DLC for Donkey
You
Kong.
mean the 80 game? You mean the $80 game that y'all
hmm
bought at
Yeah,
launch?
yeah, exactly. Where's the DLC for that? That's what I want to know. Um, and
Do you think there's a lot of buyer remorse for that?
mm, maybe, and I don't know the. I feel like these. I've seen these reports that more people are playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe than Mario Kart World online. So I mean, that tells you something. People are going back to that game
Well, the
to
reason
play
why
that over Mario Kart World.
the reason why I brought it up is because when I mentioned Nintendo has a new console, you were like, it came out in June, but in the same breath, you're like, where the rest of that DLC
Yeah.
at? And I'm like, in like it, I think that's very interesting that you guys that you representing the saying this console didn't just come out, where that DLC out because the $80 game that you guys bought at launch isn't living up to expectations.
Yeah. And again,
So
I could be a small sect of people. I don't know.
I I don't know. I'm a little bit more in line than you are, and I do feel that you are not alone in that sentiment. And so that's why I asked and why I think this is interesting because I don't hear people shit talking Donkey Kong, but I see a lot. Like I do see, and this is all anecdotal. I do see some people discussing Mario Kart, and I feel like there's a little bit of buyer's remorse
Hmm.
behind that. Like we probably shouldn't have paid $80, and they shouldn't have charged $80, but they got away with it, which means they may try this shit again.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can make the argument that the next solo Mario game might be an $80 game. Who knows? I think if the Donkey Kong game was a Mario game, they might have charged $80. I think if they charged 70 because it was Donkey Kong and he's not as well known. Um,
Yeah, but that's a bit. But even by your standards, you said Donkey Kong's a better game
then what?
than what the Mario Kart game. You said Donkey Kong
Yeah,
was a
yeah. But
better
what I'm
game.
saying, like, if they had made a Mario game, I think they would charge $80 for it, like a Mario game in the vein of
I'm
Donkey Kong.
I agree with that. I'm just saying I'm looking at price, and I'm looking at what people paid for, and it seems like there's a more buyer's remorse for the Mario Kart game than there is
Sure.
Donkey Kong, and people are seem to be enjoying Donkey Kong to the point where it is considered a game of the year game, where Mario Kart isn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I just want to know where's my single player Mario game? Where's that going to be at? Give me that. Um, because they got to be working on a new Zelda.
now,
That's not the
you think
Yeah,
so?
for sure. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were
Okay,
huge hits. I'm sure they're working on a new Zelda. Um,
I understand. I guess what I'm saying is that that just came out. What, last year?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Or is that two? Is
I
that two
think Tears
years
of the
old?
Kingdom might be 2 years old. Let's see.
Okay,
Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, May 2023.
okay. Now, with that being said, we've been talking everything video gaming, and here's a story that I wonder, and you tell me because I'm not plugged into this world. Is with Doug Bowser retiring, is that a big deal, or do you feel like these things like that, like
Um, so as somebody who has no inside knowledge, I don't feel like he is retiring because they thought he was doing a bad job. We just highlighted the fact that the Switch 2 sold gangbusters and is doing well. So
yeah,
he's going out on top. Um, I think people who
I
didn't
guess
know Doug Bowser may not realize it seems like he hasn't been there a long time, but he's been with Nintendo for like
'60.
he's been with Nintendo for a while.
He's
He's
been
been
with
the
us a
president maybe
while.
6 years, but he's been Nintendo for a good
Okay.
chunk of time. Um,
Reason why I asked that is because if Phil Spencer stepped down, that would be big.
yeah.
Like and so I guess I'm wondering is let me I'm gonna workshop this
Hmm.
out loud. So you tell me good, bad. If Phil Spencer had stepped down, that would be we would be leading a
Hmm.
press play with that. Doug Bowser stepping down isn't that big a deal, or doesn't rank as far as a Phil Spencer. But is that because Phil Spencer has been there longer and has been the face of Xbox, whereas
I
Doug
think it's
Bowser
I think it's
has not?
twofold. It is the thing of
Okay.
let me see how long Doug Bowser's been with Nintendo compared to because that is Bowser.
And while you look that up, I would like to say there's a woman I work with, Isabel, and I had asked her. He's still good over there. I had asked her about a Switch 2, and she was like, "I'm not getting it because of the price." And she
Hmm.
plays video games. She has the original Switch. She has a PlayStation. She brought her PlayStation on one of our shoots when we were overnight, like at the hotel room when we were in Newberry for a week. She brought her PlayStation, and Isabel was like, "Yeah, the Switch 2 is not worth it." To the point where I asked her again when we went to Charleston for a scout, and was like trying to have her, because you didn't talk me into buying a Switch 2. You had actually been like, when you got it, like, I didn't even open it
Hmm.
yet. And I thought about getting it for Katie for Christmas. No one has sold me on a Switch 2, which I think is wild. For the people who own it and the people who already own a Switch, or just like you were, just
Yeah.
buy a Switch, dude.
So Bowser has been with Nintendo since 2015. He became the president in 2019. So it's twofold. One, he wasn't the face of the company for as long. Like what you could equate it to is like when Reggie Fils-Aimé stepped down. That was big news because he was the face of
Yes, it
Nintendo of
was.
America for so long. He, yeah,
We
he was
talked
such a
about
big
that.
presence when he first made his E3 appearance, like 2004 or whatever it was. So he hasn't been the face for that long. Also, like real talk, Nintendo of America is really a marketing arm for Nintendo Japan. So nobody cares. Like they don't really make decisions about like the big games when they come out. They will just tell Nintendo
Mhm.
Japan, hey, maybe you guys should think about doing this or localizing this. But all the big decisions get made in Nintendo Japan, and Nintendo America really just does what they say.
It's made in
Yeah,
Homeland.
but with Microsoft, you have a USA bred company, so that's why it's a bigger thing if Phil Spencer were to step down. But so yeah, so Doug Bowser,
Okay.
he's done a good job. He's done okay with what Reggie.
Has he?
Yeah, he didn't
Okay.
mess up
I-
what
I'm
Reggie
I'm
did, what Reggie Fils-Aimé did,
I'm asking.
because it
I
could have
don't
been
know.
very easy to not have a successful Switch. Well, probably not easy to not have a successful Switch 2 launch, but they could have sold less than they definitely did. Um, so
Hmm.
yeah, I think he did fine. I think it's interesting that the person who's going to replace him is Devin Pritchard, which is a lady, so that she'll be the first uh, woman Nintendo of America president. So that's cool.
First woman president of any of the branches of Nintendo, correct?
I would assume so, but I don't know that for sure. I just know she'll be the first Nintendo of America
Okay.
female president.
Okay. So with that, so as we talk about video games, we talk about the state of these video games. Who do you think is doing the best right now?
Mm,
If you had to
probably
rank them
Sony, Nintendo,
one through
Microsoft.
three. Interesting, you said that. Okay. Why? Why would you go Sony,
I think
Nintendo, Microsoft?
Sony continues to have the cachet in people's brain. People are like, "Ooh, what's coming out next?" When people think of Grand Theft Auto, like
Mhm.
the whole reason I got the PS5 Pro was for Grand Theft Auto. I wanted to play it on the best system possible on my nice OLED TV. I
Mhm.
wanted that PS5 Pro, and it also happened to there was a sale going on before they jacked up the price of the PS5 Pro to whatever it is now. It was on sale for $50 cheaper, so I got it then. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
I think they're doing the best. They continue to have that the lion's share of the voice of what people want to talk about, and their single player cinematic experiences are bar none the best. People talk about them all the time. Granted, I didn't play Last of Us 1 and 2, but I respect them, and I know watching other people play them, I recognize how great they are, and you can get a similar experience of single player experience for the God of War games, for the Horizon games, Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yote, all that kind of stuff. I would say Nintendo's number two because Switch Two is popular. It's just what is the game you are going to play after Donkey Kong? Because it's not Mario Kart World right now with no DLC. People are excited for Metroid, which is in December, I think. But what are you playing next year? Really, who knows? And Microsoft is just trying. And again, I want them to be competitive, so Sony has to continue to step their game up. But
You sounded just now like a parent who has three kids, and you're like, this kid's going to college, this kid is going to a trade school, and this one we just trying to
yeah,
keep out of
just
jail.
stop eating the paste, man.
Like the meme. It's funny you said that because here's what I would rank them: Nintendo 1, Sony 2, Microsoft 3. I would say Nintendo is doing the best, and Nintendo is killing it right now for the exact opposite reasons, for the reasons you gave me for buying a Nintendo Switch, but the exact opposite of what you said. I would flip those two things. I would say Nintendo is doing better only because they dropped the Switch 2. They were able to raise the price of the Switch 2, where everybody freaked out about. Still was able to have one of the fastest selling consoles in that whatever truncated window that they had. You're not having to make, you are dropping first party titles, but a lot of the big splashes that you're getting and things that is juicing your
Hmm.
console is older games that are being ported over. So Star Wars, Outlaws, great port. You're getting games that are older games from I don't want to say competitors, but were on your competitor systems that were marquee title games, and you're getting great ports. And you have two amazing fast selling, amazing blockbuster selling handhelds, while the other two are spending these entire GDP country
Hmm.
budgets on these massive games. And continuously, Microsoft, not as much, but Sony continuously investing in live service games and not seeing the return in that. Whereas Nintendo's like, hey man, you want to play The Witcher 3 again? Because we got that
Hmm.
shit.
Hmm.
Like, and I have a PS5. I love my PS5. I don't play it as much as I should or want to. But here's the other part of it. I really want to Switch. I waffled back and forth between a Switch or a Switch 2, and you got away with overcharging people for a game, which then leads me to believe you're going to do the same thing again when one of your marquee first party titles comes out. I see them charging people $80 for the next
Hmm.
Mario game. They didn't do it for Donkey Kong, and I appreciate it that they didn't because I'm not about people spending money, but they were able to get away with it, and the game wasn't, according to everybody who talks about it, the game wasn't that good. It wasn't worth $80,
Yeah.
not compared to the other games that are going to be $80 that comes out. And for that to me makes Nintendo number one because they're sitting, they're doing amazing. Because while everybody else is raising their prices for their consoles, Nintendo's sitting there at what, 450?
I thought it was 499. I don't know.
Five, you know what? We'll say $500 for the Switch 2, $500. And here's the other thing. And this is where Microsoft, I think, and Xbox are going to feel this. Why would I pay
450 for the base
more
console,
money?
500 if you get the console and Mario Kart.
$450 for the brand new
Hmm.
Switch 2. Whereas Microsoft is charging you more money for a 5-year old console when it is not upgraded. It's not like they released a Microsoft Xbox Pro. Same console that I can go to one of our local shops here, buy a refurbished one for cheaper.
Hmm.
Nintendo's like, we got those new Nintendo Switches. I look at Nintendo, the Springer Bell meme, tell everybody we back up. Where Sony is sitting great at number two. Sony just released the trailer for Wolverine. They've got Game of the Year, Astrobot sitting on the shelf. If you want older title, Ratchet and Clank, you've got Ghost of Yotei coming out. Like you said, Last of Us, the show did very well. You've got those two games, and we saw in the state of play Last of Us 2 remastered or reloaded, whatever it was called. That just dropped on, or that's dropping on PlayStation Plus. Um, you, I think Sony is doing great right now, and I think they're going to be doing even better next year with this PS5 Pro when GTA 6
Sure.
drops.
Yeah.
When that drops, speculation is that's a console move. Meanwhile, Microsoft is over there just trying to keep just treading water, trying to keep because if I'm jumping into video games right now, Game Pass is a enticing deal, but that console not at that price. Not like that console price is what, almost 20% more. Like,
Yeah. Depending on which one you get. Yeah.
let's yeah, and depending on which one you get, it could be $200 more. So Microsoft's Xbox Series X 2 TB Galaxy Black Special Edition originally debuted a year ago at $599. It's now $799. It's $200 more, and this is according to The Verge. I just, to me, you cannot. So right now, if you look at Xbox Series X, the 512 gigabit, previous US price 379, it's now 399. Xbox Series S, one
Just so you
terabyte
know, I read all these
versus
prices when
four.
you went to go get your kid.
Okay, so I'm go get to that. So 429, Xbox Series X 649, previous price 599. You said switch to 450, $50 if you buy Mario Kart 2 or not Mario Kart.
World.
What is it called? Well, Mario Kart World. It ain't worth it.
Yeah, but also one thing to consider is I still think the Xbox, even though it is older, I would still say it's probably more powerful than the Switch 2.
You're right. Who has the better who has the better library?
Mm.
And that's the question. Who has the better library, and what will you have more fun playing? Because here's the thing. Game Pass is great, but I can't play Mario.
Hmm.
I can't play Zelda, and a lot of the Xbox titles will eventually come to Nintendo
That I'm curious about because they're coming to PlayStation. I haven't really seen like Gears of War come to Switch.
because Nintendo has been a family
Leroy, they're
company.
not anymore. They don't care.
What what I'm saying is it'll come eventually, but it ain't coming anytime soon. But I think eventually it will because we've seen the deal that they struck with Activision Blizzard and Microsoft for Call of Duty. So yeah, they don't mind shooting people in the face. What I'm saying is, why would I spend that money on a Xbox only console when I can buy a Switch and have access to all of these games and eventually some from Microsoft? That's what I'm looking at. And that's why I say Xbox, hey man, y'all y'all are a distant third.
Hmm.
Y'all I look at Microsoft and Xbox the same way when it comes to cars. You've got Ford and Chevy, and I know you're gonna Microsoft might be the Saturn.
Okay.
This is like that's where they might be at and when it comes down to it. But I just thought it was an interesting conversation to have with you. Because this is your wheelhouse. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You just sold me a Switch.
Good.
This conversation sold me a Switch.
You won't be disappointed, especially now that it's super cheaper than everything else. You can get so many games available. Yeah.
That's that, that's what I'm looking at. And they come in these cute little carrying cases. They're about this big. Yeah. Now, I have my issues with Nintendo. The fact that I can't watch Netflix on that little screen and all the other things that goes along with that. But pound for pound, that is a powerful little console that's entertaining. And I've got little boys.
Hmm.
That's those little Joy-Con controllers fit perfectly in a 5-year-old's hand. And I'm not saying they're cheap, but I can find some that are inexpensive. I don't know if you've seen the prices of PS5 controllers, which I
Hmm.
have to buy. That's not something I want to put in a
Oh yeah,
5-year-old's
they
hand.
keep going up and up.
Hmm. So let's wrap this up. That's where I think in video game. This is what we think in the video game world, video game sphere. What got you through the week?
Um. Hmm. Hmm.
Shouldn't be the hard
I don't
answer,
know, I'm
buddy.
trying to think. What did I watch or do?
It could have been what you
Yeah, I'm
played,
trying to
what you
think. I
did,
can't. It's all been a blur. Oh, I've been watching Franklin and
what you,
Bash
what you
on Netflix.
I forgot that show
Yeah, I just
existed.
happened to start watching. Like, I like a show. It's an easy show to watch. It's not like hard. It's not. There's light drama, but it's more comedy than drama. It's easy, goes down easy. Good stuff.
We are totally two different people. Because I've been watching the Mayans
No, thank you.
for
I
FX.
don't need that. I don't need something I got to think about.
I, I'm in the final season, and oh my gosh, the descent or escalation of
Hmm.
violence in this show. So, if you don't know, Mayans is a spinoff of Sons of Anarchy. It follows the Latino biker gang, the Mayans, because Sons of Anarchy. I don't know if people know this about the Hells Angels. When back in the day, they wouldn't let people of color join, and so Sons of Anarchy was a whites, pretty much whites only biker club. And as other clubs came up, there were biker gangs that clashed, and the Mayans were a gang that always they fought with. Then the Mayans got their own show, and it follows JD Pardo as a prospect moving through the ranks of the biker gang. And it came out during the first Trump administration, and it deals with immigration, it deals with fentanyl, heroin, and all of that stuff that happened in the first administration seems even more relevant now. So I've been watching that. Alien Earth just wrapped up. Season finale was Tuesday. I recommend everybody watching that. Peacemaker is killing it. James Gunn, bravo. And Marvel Zombies just dropped.
I will watch that this weekend.
So I just started watching that. I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna let Evan watch it,
How does he do with
but
scary
I
stuff?
haven't. Here's the thing. Remember Jurassic World Rebirth,
Hmm.
and you
Hmm.
were watching that? That was the first movie I
Hmm.
took him to. Me, him, and my dad, we went to go see that in a movie theater. He does okay. He already knows what a zombie is. Um, we've had discussions about zombies, so I don't know. I'm gonna watch it all and see what he thinks. He has been loving K-pop Demon Hunt.
Sure.
I'm gonna buy him some shirts. I think that's amazing. You watched it as
It
well. What
was
did you
fine.
think?
Yeah, it was
Just
it
fine.
was it was just fine. It was like this. This
Hater.
is this is not the best but K-pop songs that I've heard. They're good. They're not the best, but it's fine.
Here's the thing. Are you grading them against other K-pop songs? Or are you grading them how they fit the narrative of that
I'm
movie?
grading them against other K-pop songs.
See that's where I think you're making your mistake because we talked about this. I think you should grade them how they fit in this world and this movie.
Okay.
Perfect example. Are you grading when you watch Hamilton the songs of Hamilton against other hip hop songs? Or are you grading Hamilton songs against what it means for a Hamilton Broadway show?
I mean, I would probably say against other hip hop songs.
Oh, so you're that
Yeah.
guy. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I don't do that. I look at it as, yeah, we are not the same. But I respect
I
that.
agree. We're not.
I don't agree with it, but I respect it. Anyway, so that's Michael. I'm
I, t-
Leroy.
I, I told your wife
Look,
she
guys,
listen to some KDA if you want some. Yeah,
KDA.
some K-pop. KDA.
Now I don't know. I like some K-pop. Um, we're going to listen to a little bit more because Evan and Owen they're really into music. They're really into
Sure.
dancing. Um, the one that's on the couch right now dresses up as Bruno Mars and does this fight dancing like capoeira, and I'm like, what are you doing? Anyway, I really like K-pop Demon Hunters, and I have watched it. I understand now why parents hated
Hmm.
Frozen, because as much as you can love something, watching it every day for like a month
Yeah.
wears on you. And we're at that stage with K-pop Demon Hunters. I love that movie. I think it's amazing. I think what they did, I think it's up there with Spider Verse. But good lord, I'm tired of seeing it.
Sure.
So with that being said, guys, a lot of the news is bad. Watch what you need. Find your joy. Find your happy. And don't let the haters get you down.
Indeed.
So for Leroy, as a ministry of
That
mischief.
happy juice got you sounding.
Sound like mistress. Well, it sounded like I said
It did.
mistress.
I was like, well,
So
okay.
nope,
Oh, I wasn't
don't need a
judging.
mistress. I do need the lottery though. Anyway, that's Michael. I'm Leroy. He is out.
And we out too.
I put him on that. He
Later.
is out. Deuces.